Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing about Assam's Karbi Anglong, wherein fresh series of violence have started. So we'll understand as to what is the immediate trigger and what has been the historical background of the dispute that is going on in Assam. So the immediate trigger is basically what is the trigger or the fire or the spark for the recent violence. However, the reasoning dates back to the recent one. It's going to go years and decades back, but we'll understand both of them in this video. So let's get started with the news. So there has been fresh series of violence in West Karbi Anglong district of Assam. Now this incident took place just yesterday, and there have been already 2 casualties. That means 2 people have already died, and of course dozens have been injured, as a result of which the markets has been shut down and the internet has also been stopped. So now the question is, why this fresh violence? Because the people, the inhabitants of this region want that the people who are non-inhabitants or who are migrating from other states, for example, from the state of Bihar, a lot of people have migrated, they have settled. So the people or the inhabitant of Karbi Anglong district want these people to be removed. And since that is not happening, instead more encroachment is happening, as a result of which it is leading to more and more violence in the district. Now, what has been the immediate administrative response of the governance system? First thing is mobile and internet, basically mobile internet services has been suspended. Now, of course, internet has become sort of a basic need these days, but yes, in India, there has been many instances of banning of the internet in the, let's say, in Jammu and Kashmir, in the northeastern states. Now here also we are talking about a northeastern state, that is Assam. So it takes away your right, of course, but at the same time, in certain situations, it becomes necessary. For example, in such a situation wherein violence is prevailing through the internet, through the social media apps and stuff, more violent videos, pictures, provocative content, false news, misinformation, all these things could spread even faster. So this is the reasoning behind suspending it. Now, this has been done in the Karbi Anglong as well as the West Karbi Anglong district. There has been prohibitory orders that are imposed over here, and the security forces have been deployed to control the violence. So you can see that this is sort of an immediate response which will be there. Of course, in the long term, this is not a sustainable thing, but a temporary thing in the meanwhile till the sustainable results or the solutions are found out. Now, what has been the immediate trigger of the violence? So we discussed that encroachment is there. Now, against that encroachment, there is an ongoing hunger strike at Philangpi over 2 weeks. So it has been over 2 weeks that there has been the protest or the hunger strikes that is going on, subsequent to which 9 protesters on fast unto death. That means they have started a fast unto death. They will fast till they are alive. They'll keep on fasting. Now, what is the demand of the people? As I mentioned, eviction of the alleged encroachers. Right? From where? From the professional grazing reserve and the village grazing reserve. Okay, this is the demand. Now, how did the tensions escalate? The tensions escalated because these hunger strike protesters who were there, who were protesting on a particular site, they were taken away from that site. Now, as a result of which, the protesters started thinking that they have been arrested. But the argument of the police is that the protesters have been moved. They have been moved to Guwahati for what? For medical reasons and not because of arrests. Right? But the local perception was they assumed that the protesters have been arrested. As a result of which, what happened? anger spread rapidly. The stone pelting, the first photo that you saw, that also started because of the assumption. Now, subsequently, there have been targeting of the political leadership as well. Now, why are you targeting a political leadership? Because they are the part of the governance system, so that's the thought process that will go behind. They represent the governance system, as a result of which they will be targeted. Is this justified? Is burning someone's house justified? It's not. But then that's how the psyche of the people may start to work. So they have targeted the political leadership, right? So they have basically touched the ancestral properties of Tuliram Ronghang, then the chief executive member of the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council, as well as a political party leader's house as well. So this is also a part of violence that is happening. This probably also hints towards politicization of the issue, because you're vandalizing the house of political leadership. There is a possibility that certain political leadership could be involved to ensure that they do all these things. Now, what is the constitutional framework with respect to Assam's Karbi Anglong district? Let us understand that. The Karbi Anglong and the West Karbi Anglong, they both fall under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, and they are governed by KAAC, that is Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. Now, the 6th schedule talks about the reserved areas basically. Now, the powers under this include the land management power for this council, the local governance power for this council, and the protection of the tribal interests. Okay, so this is what has been happening so far, and this is basically what is the recent trigger. Now let's understand what has been the historical background. So this region has a long history of insurgency, extremist violence, etc. has been there. Now there is this Karbi ethnic group. Initially, the Karbi ethnic group demanded a separate state. However, later on, with certain facilitation, consensus development, they were ready to, let's say, settle down for a greater autonomy, right? So from separatist nature, they agreed for the greater autonomy. Fair enough. Let us decide more of our things on our own. That should be more than enough, is what they said. Now, these Karbi tribal bodies that is there, Karbi tribal bodies means their own people's representative organizations. They are demanding the eviction of the settlers. Who are the settlers here? The Biharis, the Bengalis. So people from different states of India. Not just that, the Nepalis, people from another country altogether. So they want that these settlers to be removed. Now, what is the claim of the settlers? The settlers are saying that this is our residence for decades altogether, and our livelihood depend on that. So maybe then the argument comes that this should have happened decades back, right? Now, in state, see, when tribal rights are reserved, you have to respect that. You can have free movement throughout the country. You can settle down wherever you want, but certain areas are having certain special reservations or protections under the 6th schedule of the constitution that has to be respected. That's one thing. Second, the different states of the country is with respect to our own Indian citizens, but if there are foreigners as well of other countries, that is also a concern, a bigger one probably. So their claims are also a one way to look at it. The other way is that they are saying that they have also stayed for decades over here. Now, the Bihari Nonia community organization that is there. So what has been the counter mobilization by settlers that has been done? This community has basically submitted a memorandum to the President of India for demanding legalization of their settlements. That means whatever their settlements are should be legalized so that no one can evict them in the future, is what they are demanding. So what can be the way forward here? First things first, there needs to be a very transparent process. The conversation has to be very transparent. So transparent communication during the protest. The dialogue is required. Time-bound judicial resolution should be there. It should not be delayed. Justice delayed can be justice denied. It can went up the anger of it can basically pile up the anger for the people. Inclusive dialogue should be there between the tribal councils as well as the settlers, so that mutually agreeable solution can come out, and the strengthening of 6th schedule institution should be there, so that if this is happening, that there are Nepalis who are living since decades, probably decades before only, this issue should have been addressed. So going forward, we need to further strengthen the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Thank you.